Hello and welcome to another episode of Luck, Marry, Kill. I am your DM for this evening, also known as the host of most of this channel, Witchy Mitchy, and this is most of the conclusion, the falling action of what has been a months-long campaign just to get to level 5, and a return of someone who the party has been after the entire time. Although that will be happening next week. This week is the returning process. So without any further ado, because I don't want to spoil what's going on in this session and the next sessions with the party themselves, who are all here, we have Susie as currently both Maggie and Corey. We have Akisho as Morphier. We have Dan as Patches. We have Jordan as the ever-overpowered Velvet. And usually we would have Sarah as Chime, but Sarah can't be with us this week. But luckily, Chime's busy having a mental breakdown. So, works out. So, we left off last week with a fight ending in Chime getting downed and then getting brought back, but also with Zed sacrificing the spark within himself to bring Maggie back, who in turn brought Corey back. Maggie and her father, Captain Solomon Birch, were left down in the area with the sarcophagus of who we found out was Vecnaat, the God Queen, and the sarcophagus had broken open with a shrieking mummy that burst into sand flying through the roof of the sewer directly up into the museum, and the party making their way back up as well, I believe via the elevator into the museum, where rubble abounds everywhere. And seemingly this sheer force of nature had erupted out of the top of the museum, the glass top. And that's basically where we are. Except for Corey, who found an egg that has seemingly been calling to her as well. And so, we pick up with rubble everywhere. The museum in utter disarray. Some of the exhibits just decimated. Not one, not two, but 3 of the bad guys having gotten away from the last encounter. And the party now feels themselves pulled once again back towards the train, despite the destruction that has been wrought. People are panicking, and as you come out into the streets, sheer chaos is everywhere. A path of sand, a path of what looks to be destruction. Luckily, so far as you can see, no carnage. All the way due east of the museum, seemingly straight towards the site of the World's Fair in Ticonderoga. What do you do?
Well, geez.
I think it's a problem for future. Probably us.
Probably. I think the most important thing to do right now is try and get through all of this mess and get back to the train, if it is still in one piece.
Is Corey still on the slab? And where's her health at?
You have been brought back with 1 hit point.
Both Maggie and Corey?
Yes. You're both up. You're conscious. You've got 1 hit point apiece. Maggie is being tended to by Solomon Birch. So if you want to avoid that awkward conversation as Corey, you are welcome to. I assume Corey goes over and gives Solomon the old pat on the back and an attaboy to her adoptive father and pieces out from where he's tending to the daughter that he's been waiting years and years and years to see again.
And as she walks away, she shoots finger guns at him.
Now, where do you think... And he just shakes his head. You've got the egg. And I assume you're following the rest of the party. There are a few people, as you make your way towards the train station, who have been injured in the path of this. Because the train station is actually in the same direction as the World's Fair, from where you were at the museum. Same general direction, not precisely, just enough to where you can follow the path to get close. No cars are running in this area. People are being tended to by physicians and being carted off on stretchers as you get closer and closer. It's almost as though as it went on, it was deliberately hurting more people. And when you get to the train station, you can see it is crowded. People are trying to leave. People are bustling onto any available train out of town. They do not care where they are going.
Are there tickets that can be sold to our train?
You have a car on a larger private train?
I thought so.
The car is very protected, but there's not a lot. Also, C4 and Joanna are still following you. They're still with you.
Do Corey and Maggie have any memories of what happened to them?
Roll a history check with disadvantage.
I'll remember that shit check.
It's a Morphe classic.
Classic Morphe.
Remember, Winnie, remember.
Wait, who am I rolling as? Am I rolling as Maggie or Corey?
I assume you're rolling as Corey since you're trying to avoid playing as two people. I left Maggie with Solomon Birch in the sewers being tended over and fussed over. Now that
we upped Corey's character sheet to level 5.
It's... If you're taking feats, it's not going to matter. Especially with history.
Well, I don't have her sheet pulled up. I thought I did. I have Zed's pulled up, so give me a sec.
Zed's dead, honey. Zed's dead.
Zed sacrificed himself
to bring back the one person that could cast Revivify twice.
Unless he gets that spark back, he gone. You've got the clasp and you have no idea who Zed is currently.
He's laying in the bottom of the sewer, my dudes.
Oh no, he became the clasp again, so he's back on Corey's cloak. But he doesn't have that spark of life anymore, so like, you would have to go...
He was a sentient robot on your cloak to begin with.
Yeah, you'd have to go get him the spark of life back, which could also be a later you problem if you want it to be. Do you have her sheet, or do you need me to look it up?
Harper, you had one job.
I can't find it. Give me it. I mean, either I can keep looking or you can tell me.
I will grab it really quickly. I think I have it still in the cloud. I do.
It's been since before I gave birth.
I know. That was your level 1 character sheet. Not that it'll matter, but... And this one is your... what? Also level 1 for some reason. Okay, your history is a 0.
So 12.
Okay.
Hey, you.
So, you have a vague sense of someone coming up behind you. You sensed them right before the cloth was put over your mouth. And you remember the scent of chemicals.
Classic velvet.
It smells like chloroform.
Does this smell like chloroform to you?
Don't you have to inhale chloroform for like 5 whole minutes for it to take a
Yeah,
look?
it's you can't just go and then have somebody.
Yeah, no, there's a bit of a struggle. Yeah.
I will admit I was 2 years old when I realized it didn't work like reverse.
Yeah, no, it's not you sniff it and you're knocked out. It's you.
I know
You struggle a bit.
I see in some of the movies. It's always that
It's like It's like reverse smelling salts.
5 seconds or something, like 5-10 seconds of struggling, and the person collapses. It's definitely not 5 minutes of struggling.
It'd be hilarious if it worked like smelling salts.
There's a reverse smelling salt. Just
And you
Or
were
as violently as smelling salts wakes you up. Like
that's how it seems to work on most TV, most movies. Then again,
Apparently it can like make you bark because it's so intense.
yeah.
that's why.
So
There's a stab himself in the face with it for my own.
So you also remember you were in the museum, and it was seemingly after hours because no one else was there and it was dark.
Museum after hours. Don't you know everything comes to life in the museum after hours?
It was night at the museum.
after hours.
So,
After dark.
basically, Corey got chloroformed and taken down there and bled on a slab.
Who did?
Corey?
I thought you said Cora.
No, I said Corey.
But Cora too.
She just like massages her temples and kind of hangs back because she's trying to clear her head and has no idea what the fuck is going on.
Also, if anybody wants to heal her, I was going to say...
Here, Corey, take this. It's a regular healing potion, 2d4. Plus 4?
She knocked it back like a shot.
You can have mine too.
2d4 plus 2.
Arabella Cervanti Jr.
Junior.
Is staying with you as well. Like, being half carried by Joanna as you go along. Who are you people?
We're friends of your mother. We're here to come get you and take you back.
Was she behind
Do I
this?
roll? Sorry, I was trying to figure out who rolls for the 2d4.
You go ahead. Unless you want me to.
Also,
I don't think she's behind.
No, they just rolled 2 4s, so.
I think she's just a benefactor that wants her daughter back and happens to be involved in this scenario.
you're saying she was involved in taking me to begin with?
Not necessarily, no. She was involved in trying to get you back, but you happened to be taken and involved in this giant fiasco before she could get you back.
What the hell happened?
Our detective work has told us that you were kidnapped by a skulk, and that you were brought here because of your draconic ancestry, that is withheld in your blood for the meanings of bringing back Vecna-At as the avatar of Tiamat.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you were essentially potion ingredients.
Okay.
Rather inspiration turn of phrase.
And who are you in all of this? You work for my mom?
We all, in some way, are, let's say, indebted to your mother. And this is a way of clearing that.
Don't tell me she used the tablet on you.
And also, if we don't, we will probably die.
She used the tablet on you. Okay. Also, for reference, the two people who are still down there are Ferngul Feyweather, who is the Dragonborn, and Bentha, who is a Tabaxi. They're dead.
Well, they couldn't have been brought back, could they?
No, you didn't have the revivifies for it.
Yeah, I would have loved to have a Dragonborn on the team. Can I find find out if the Dragonborn person had family that happens to be a twin sibling of the exact same class and level?
You are welcome to investigate that later.
Okay, I'll just write down the name and description so I can inform the family, I guess.
Ferngul. Feyweather, Fay, weather like the Weather Channel.
Well, I've also still been carrying the body of my brother.
Okay.
Yeah, Marquez has not been in a very bright trap. He still doesn't quite know exactly what to do in this particular situation.
Closest thing I can think of is the fact that Jordan is out there somewhere with the wish card still undrawn.
Michelle, the newest character sheet I could find for Corey was level 2.
We'll fix it later. So, people are giving you a lot of funny looks dragging a dead body around.
We're all carrying somebody, almost all of us are carrying somebody.
Joanna carrying Arabella Cervanti. People are kind of just making way. Even in the train station, some people are trying to run for help. They either think that you did something or they need to contact somebody to come help you with this body.
There's no way I could go drop off the sculpt body real quick at the professor's room, could I?
No.
I didn't think so.
Now that you have the package in hand, the Arabella Cervanti Jr., the pull back towards the train is like heart and hands. Like, if you don't go do it, like, it's almost like you'd be back on the Constitution saving throw train back to...
It writes her a love letter with the information on it.
Yeah, I was about to say, can I drop it off with Felix Fines and ask him to drop it off at her office?
Felix Fines is on the way.
I give him my hat and I could give him I guess I give him the whole body. I don't know.
So you You can take the hat and you can take the body out in the pieces it was chopped up into to fit through the hat's hole.
Yeah, I guess I dump out the pieces from the hat. I'm like, hey, this is a really messed up delivery, but I need you to deliver this to.
This puzzle becomes a dead smoke.
Do you know your future date's name? Did you write it down?
That's funny. You know, the last note in our group notes for this was, I'm having a baby next week. That's how long ago we haven't written in that one. So I looked it up. I was going through stuff. And I was like, I wonder when we stop making a group notes. And it's literally, she wrote, I'm having a baby next week.
To Professor Chiambra's room, please.
There you go.
And I drop off the 10 gold.
Yeah, I've been a little distracted with being able to take notes.
Yeah. I wonder what happened since a week before having a baby.
Clarissa Chiambra. I happen to know the professor personally. I can deliver this for you, no problem. And you'll learn about how they know each other later on.
Clapping cheeks.
Not so much. Not so much. Clarissa Chiambra will be getting her special delivery from Velvet later on. Yes, I said it that way on purpose. So, off to the train station you go. And once you're in the train station, people are literally running away from Morphier, holding a corpse. And this whole group of people that look like they are part of either whatever happened or whatever the hell is going on. Like, they are...
Like, head to waist, we're covered in blood. Waist down, we're covered in shit and piss.
Pretty much.
I have to stand corrected. Morphe and his brother are spotless.
Morphie's losing his damn mind. Still going. Prestidigitation. Prestidigitation. Prestidigitation.
All he's focused on. He can't focus on anything else.
Yeah, probably. Jay's very... He has... Outside of the moment we stopped for Velvet to drop off the movie, he has been straight-eyed focused, like the pool or not, he is one direction.
When Velvet stopped to drop off the body, did Morphier go inside with him?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably pacing around, unless the group went in, then I would have went in. But if Velvet just went in by himself real quick, then
I'm gonna say at least Joanna took Arabella Cervanti in, and they got sorted with some potions, and she now has more health. I don't know if the rest of you went in.
Yeah, I think, if more people than Velvet are going in, I would have followed. Probably still silent.
Okay.
We're getting out. We can talk and deal with things once we're safely aboard. And
So retconning what's happened at the train station so far, because you haven't gotten there yet now, you see that after the skulk delivery is set aside, Felix sees you holding your brother. May I help for just a second?
Morpheus probably he's still mumbling to himself, so you probably have to call his name twice to get his attention. He's just like, what is it? What?
May I help for just a second with this, with him?
Help! Yes, please.
And he takes out what looks like a diamond skull and touches it to your brother's chest. And your brother seems to warp and twist into the skull.
What did you do? Where did he go?
And he holds it out to you. This is a skull of gentle repose. If you can find the means to bring him back, he will stay in largely the same condition that he went in.
Yeah. I reach out, take the skull and cradle it back against my chest. Thank you. Thank you. I suppose. He's struggling to. He looks grateful, but he still has the shade of disappointment, in his eyes. Suppose this will help to take us something else.
I would say it should be a good deal less conspicuous. If you need him again, cast a pre-prepared ritual circle. It should take about 10 minutes. As though you're casting any ritual spell. And while thinking deeply about who he is, touch your right hand to the skull. He will reemerge.
Right. So, once I'm ready to bring him back, just do the ritual, touch the skull, and he comes back.
Then you do whatever it is you're going to do to resurrect or otherwise.
Well, again, thank you for this.
But do see to it that skull is not destroyed ever. Consider it alone and make sure it comes back to me when you've done what you're going to do with it. If you can be successful.
Judging by the tugging in my belly regions. No, we must dash, but I will return this to you. For the time being, I shall protect it as if it was, well, it is, my flesh and blood, apparently.
All right. Tiffany, note down that Mr. Morphier has taken the skull of gentle repose. He'll be back with it, I'm sure. Also, can you deliver... I would wrap it first. But deliver all this to Clarissa's office, please. Thank you. Oh, and sign it care of... Was it Velvet?
Velvet Isabel, yes, sir.
All right. I'm terrible with names. But you all have made an impression. You all have made a singular impression on me. I do see great things in our future together.
Quick question for the DM.
What's up?
Has Corey met Felix before?
Yes. Wait. No, you were not on the train. You went straight from the train to gone. So, no. No,
so
Corey
after he
has
said
not.
y'all made an impression. Sorry, who the fuck are you?
I'm Felix Fines. Formerly of more or less the same employer as your friend Patches. Some of my information was rather valuable during the conflict that occurred some years back. And I'm really good at finding shit.
She holds her hand out. Please excuse the shit on my face. I'm Corey. She literally has shit on her face.
Oh. And he prestidigitation down your entirety. And you just boop, just clean as a whistle. Nothing to forgive.
I like you already.
Now, unless you all need anything else, I do believe you do have somewhere to be, and a benefactor who has been trying to contact me to ascertain your whereabouts.
Actually, I do have a question for you. Do you know much about these? And she holds out the dragon egg.
Well, that's a damn dragon egg.
I'm sorry, what?
Fire or necrotic shit, breath that happens to be some sort of element.
I know what a fucking dragon is.
I don't understand the question. It is a dragon's egg.
Did dragons still exist, first of all? Second of all, since when the fuck were they pink?
First of all, that is a rather rare specimen, if I do say so myself. Usually they are, what's the word? Innocuous? Dormant. And I do not know. There are rumors. I never thought I'd see one in real life.
Considering this is about the sixth one we've seen in the last 24 hours, I'd like to think that the rumors are a little bit closer to truth.
Sixth? Or how many dragon eggs have you seen? And what, may I ask, has, like, two more of you, and he waves his hand, formerly covered in shit and piss and blood?
Actually, we've seen 5. One of them we saw twice. One of them is the one we procured on your assistance.
Yes.
Ah.
I wish I could have stolen that fact.
Few of our cohorts were not actually our cohorts necessarily. They were more so under the employ of our aggressors.
Well, they're under the employ of whoever in the Nine Hells now.
Exactly.
What was the state of those eggs when we left them? I know some of them cracked open. But
3 of them had cracked open. One of them is in Corey's possession. And the 5th one seems to have been swept away in the sand. As though it was taken by the whatever the sand was itself.
Nothing came out of the 3 that cracked.
essences came out and went into the obsidian sarcophagus.
Well, those 3 are probably no longer functional. Well, that leaves one in a mystery. But yes, we have seen more than a room. And
They all look slightly different. So I would imagine it's different races of dragons.
Right, there are rumors of lesser known species. Not just your standard chromatic and metallic.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because they're doing something on the behalf of Tiamat. So 5 different colored dragons.
The rumor is that just as there are dragons of any element of nature, there are dragons of every type of the natural world. There are dragons dwelling in the deep sea. There are dragons made of trees. There are dragons made of flowers. There are dragons made of pure wind. Dragons made of time itself.
It's not just representing the elements, but of the elements as well.
Correct. So to see one of these, I would have to assume it's one of those.
And do these rumors speak of anything that happens, say, if one of these eggs were to hatch?
I assume that a dragon would come out.
The first in now thousands of years, or
That would be the estimation. At least what people say and what can be confirmed. There have been plenty of quote-unquote sightings, but most of the people who saw them are kooks.
I wouldn't be so sure about it. They are little incoherently mumbling friend over here has seen and heard of lots of truths that has gotten them called a kook before, and those just so happen to be actual facts.
And I'm assuming this is when normally Sarah would go, yeah, time is a construct.
Exactly.
But also, Chime is not doing that for once. Chime is, and it's, but then not anywhere near Chime's usual self.
Yeah, it is. It's alright. It's alright. Yes, as saying, these rumors have been getting proved facts more and more frequently each and every day.
How very fascinating.
That's one way to put it.
Information's information. It's never... It's what that information results in that could, in fact, be good or bad. No use borrowing trouble if, say, you got a dragon, you raise a dragon. Then you got a dragon on your side.
Just a nature versus nurture question.
Well, a number of entities who sway towards certain alignments during this changing millennium have swayed from their tradition. Oftentimes, those who are thought evil will sway towards good. Those who are thought good will sway too far in the name of doing what they think is right, and hurting people in the process. People break their oaths. People break their religions. Who's to say a dragon couldn't amend its ways and take family with people such as yourselves? And you see Joanna kind of smile, and she looks at Patches and goes, which is the sign for family.
Yep. Dan knows that. I took sign language in middle school. High school. Oh, Anna means family. Family means no one gets left behind.
Except Sandy.
Or forgotten. We got her Stitch bib today.
Or Hannah means family. Which, if you add 12 packs a day to that voice, is just Gollum. You don't have any friends. Nobody likes you.
And that's how you get the cough.
And so, I assume that you all are on your way. Unless we have any other business here.
Yeah, I've got a train to catch.
Yeah.
Yep, we've all got one to catch.
Arms crossed in the doorway. A sly foxhead goes, and you've got an exclusive to give.
God damn it.
Oh, did you miss me, Velvet?
Heavy sigh.
I don't usually miss much.
Well, judging from the thing that was just out there on the Ferris wheel, shrieking at the entire city, I would say a little explanation would be appreciated.
I thought you'd recognize your own mother.
Well, my friend, you guys got the Pulitzer or a spot in the insane asylum after this article we're going to give you.
Well, I would love to hear it, and I have to feature each of you in the article itself and your team as a whole.
Do we honestly have time to be having interviews right now? I feel like they're much more.
Well, we got a long train ride.
That you do. I've been waiting by the train for a while. I thought I'd come see Felix to see what the hell might be going on.
Well, you found it.
Well, I'm sure I did, judging by our previous interactions. And so you all make your way to the train, a little more conspicuously than inconspicuously than before. Now with Arabella walking and the corpse you were lugging around now conveniently hidden within a crystal skull.
So you're just walking around with a weird skull now. So it's not that creepy anymore.
Yeah, I feel like I had carefully wrapped it up in like some cloth and stored it in the section of my bag, all nice and padded.
And so, you board the train?
Yeah.
Yes.
You climb? And your companions, C4 goes and says, I will tell the conductor that we should be going. And so, you start on your way back to Newtocket.
Whatever the hell's happening at the World Fair.
I can explain what happened at the World's Fair. Things got brought to a screeching halt as what looked like both... It's hard to describe a mummy wearing a dress of sandstorm, mounting the Ferris wheel on the top, and just shrieking at the crowd below.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Before flying off due east.
So over the lake?
Over the lake.
Well, that'd be Canada's problem for the next few hours.
That is a thing that would not have found it out as a walrus.
I'm just glad I didn't stay in town.
But where it came from, I assume you know something about.
The world may never know.
Oh, come on, Velvet.
Now, what if we was to say, if we told you, we'd have to kill you?
How's about we each tell you a different story and you tell us which one's true?
That's an interesting wager. Why would you say you'd have to kill me?
Have you never heard the phrase before?
Oh, I've heard the phrase. Hundreds of times, and how many times I've died is exactly 0.
It's Harper's saying.
She's watching the cat roll around with zoomies on the dog's bed, and she's laughing and screaming. And then I pointed out that Michelle was on the screen, and I said, "Was that Mama?" And she was like, "Oh."
Hi, Harper.
You
I had to
know,
watch
if I
headphones.
could just bump my head against yours and let you know everything that happened, I really would.
Why don't we start from the beginning?
I bet you'd like that, wouldn't you?
I absolutely would. So I've got as far as you were in Newtocket, and you were hired by Arabella Cervantes Sr.
This is going to take some drinks. Let's meet in the lounge.
I agree.
I turned off my headphones and put on the speaker, and she's trying to find where you are. Oh.
I'm on the screen, Harper.
I got huge.
Oh, Mommy.
Where's
God,
my
those
mommy?
giant eyes are crazy.
I know, right? She's like, I hear her. Where's my mommy? Where's my mommy?
Harper
Oh,
Kid.
big smile. Big smile.
Is that Mitchie Mama? She went, ah. Is that Mitchie Mama?
Harper Kid. What are you doing?
She's
What
like,
do
where
you
the hell
think
is that
you're
coming
doing?
from?
What do you think you're doing? What do you think
Like,
you're
what is
doing?
this witchcraft? Why do I hear
Yeah.
a voice? Why can't I see her?
So this is the story all about how our lives got turned upside down.
And if you'd like to take a minute, just sit right there.
Right there.
Do you hear people
I'm
talking?
telling you how this giant sand monster came from down there.
Is that Mitchie Mama?
I'll tell you a story about the Godstoppers.
We call ourselves the Everlasting Godstoppers.
Hell of a name.
So far, we've stopped
Okay,
0.
Anyway, I'll stop now.
As a matter of fact, we've helped more than we've stopped.
What do you mean by that?
Well, everything in its own time.
Yeah,
We're
Marcy
hired.
was going behind the bar and begin making cocktails because he cannot.
Whatever you make me, Morphier, make it a triple.
Yep.
Anyway, we were hired by, you could say hired. You can also say coerced into a contract with Madame Cervanti, Senior.
Again, I am so sorry about her.
Yeah, your mom's kind of a bitch.
Oh, I know.
Constitution saving throw. We all have our various reasons for being indebted to Madame Cervanti. And for those individual reasons, we were put together to work on this here quest. Just like those before us, right? There were a group of people before us.
So we've got... yes, there were a group of people before you in Ticonderoga, from what I understand from what Felix tells me. You may have saved one of them down there in whatever was going on. I assume it was beneath the city because it seems to have come up out of the ground and through the museum, which that far I got. I've got the beginning. I've got the end. I need the middle.
So, Madame Cervanti sends us all onto a train from Newtocket up north. And then we go to...
The train gets attacked.
Oh, yeah, the train gets attacked on its route to where we were going by a series of armored men, armored individuals. Sorry, I don't know if they're men or not. How would I know that? Because their faces were also covered. And they were donning this black armor with an insignia of a Church of the Black Scar Horn, but modified to represent a dragon instead of a goat.
Could that have any ties to what's going on?
Oh, all of the ties, in fact. That's the entire point of why they were stopping us was because we now know that this little Miss Cervanti here, Junior, has some draconic history to her lineage that we'll get into towards the later part of the story. Unless you just want the ending now, I could summarize it for you.
Oh no. Keep going on. Details help.
So part of the attack is they derail the train.
Yeah,
Yes.
just like this story, it got derailed at one point. We all managed to slink our way out and start heading north through a funny little quaint town. And as a person, I'm forgetting. Did we go to the town and then I get kidnapped, or did I get kidnapped and then we go to the town?
Which town are you talking about?
The town with the funny names.
You went to the town first. Town was first, then you got kidnapped.
I thought so. All right, someone else's turn. Popcorn read.
Going back through my notes, trying to figure out where in time.
That was all off the top of my head.
Yeah, and I'm trying to recall specifics. Linglesburg?
Was Anixia and Virginia still with us at this point? Before or after?
We had Onyxia during this.
You had Onyxia. Yeah.
We had a couple of run-ins on the way to this town with a friend of ours who has since departed our company.
Right, that would be my my fellow Foxhead. I wondered what happened to them.
We wonder too, in many ways. One day we woke up on the train, and their room was empty except for signs of a little bit of a struggle and enough blood to say someone probably died. But nothing other than that. And we haven't seen them since. This happened after the point we are on in the story, though.
That was the time we woke up in some land far, far away.
Yes. We'll try to do things in order. We had a few run-ins in the woods on the way to the town. Those were very focused on Onyxia and what they had going on. Then we got to the town.
And that's when you got to Linglesburg.
Linglesburg, yes. Great town, full of worshippers of the Morning Lord. Which Morning Lord?
Paylor.
Paylor. I always got in the back of my head.
Wait, that was when
In a prosperous character in the back of my head all the time. Well, we had found that the town had been taken over by a new mayor. He had come up with mind flare technology and was trying to mine the area with essentially a zombie horde of tadpoled people.
So, let me get this entirely correct. Someone synthetically mimicked mind flare technology to control the population of an area.
Yes.
Don't forget the birds. You got the birds specifically.
Oh, yes, the birds. Yeah, he was working his way up. He had birds that were attacking in the night. With the domed heads.
There was a mansion.
Yeah, he had a mansion upside down.
And swimming.
We put everything together, busted in one night, got into a big old fracas, And then one of the local youths showed up and was for about 30 seconds an actual avatar of Baylor.
And he had one of these newfangled cars.
Oh, yes, the cars.
Oh, we've seen those before.
Yes. I mean, you are a city dweller yourself. You've seen plenty of them.
Right.
For these people in this town, cars was a thing you've read about. I think you didn't hone in on that she turned into an avatar of Baylor.
So we've got one town, small town.
Almost in the middle of nowhere. It wasn't for the fact that it was a major route from one side of the country to the other.
People about to be mind flayer tadpoled synthetically by someone not a mind flayer.
That's right.
Had already gone to the birds, and all of a sudden one of them turns into an avatar of Paylor to come and help you.
Yeah, I'd say the fight was going pretty good, but it seemed like there might have been a turn coming, and then all of a sudden she showed up, all powerful, shining to the dickens.
Interesting. So this would be one of the gods you didn't stop.
Yeah, we would not be, at least definitely not on that occasion, and from what we've learned now firsthand, pretty much. I don't think we would be interested in stopping.
So
Unless things changed.
So do we know who she is? Like personally.
There's a name somewhere, yes.
She was a representative.
She had a very memorable name, actually.
Whose
Do we
name
want
are
to
we
give
trying
the
to
name?
recall?
What?
Whose name are we trying to recall?
The avatar of Paylor.
It wasn't Ida, was it?
I've got it here in my notes. It was.
It was
one of the
Ida?
bears, yeah.
Yeah.
But do we want to be sharing names?
Sharon Needles?
Well, no to that, but
We'll circle back around to that and consider it off the record until you're ready to.
Oh, and there was this snake lady.
oh yes, the snake lady.
She got away.
She was married to the son of a bitch that was doing all the stuff.
Yes, and she literally slithered away.
And we let her go, didn't we?
Yeah.
If this was the Pound family that went missing there?
Yep.
Right. Heard they wanted to turn it in from Linglesburg to Pound Town. Terrible name. Anyway. So an avatar of Paylor shows up. One of the gods who didn't stop. You continue on.
Oh yes, while we were doing that, the town was having an uprising against all the birds and all that kind of stuff. They did fairly well. Of course, several people died. But they did very well fending for themselves during that at the same time. But then we got some horses and started heading towards Ticonderoga. One night we stopped for camp, and we woke up, and Velvet was missing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kidnapped by my sibling. Her name is Silk. And she is, like me, in many ways, a moth room. However, she is a vampire. And
Well, damn.
this was shortly after the fact that I had grown teeth. Just out of the blue, went from regular moth mouth to teeth. And there are multiple perspectives to this story, as I was kidnapped and then those of my friends came after me to help to save me. But from my end, I was put in these magical chains and thrown in the back of a car. And my sister Silk brought me through various towns and whatnot. To a sort of castle in a rundown, nearly abandoned town, where I met my father and brother, who, my father being was he a true vampire?
Yeah.
My father being a true vampire, and also a Mothram, that I had no idea I had at this point, decided that because I was getting involved with the draconic nature of Madame Cervanti, that it would be best for me to embrace the full power of my vampiric lineage. And he initiated a ceremony in which I was granted more sort of I was granted more power over my Dhampir nature. All the while this is happening, this group of friends here is riding on horseback, chasing after me, and trying to get through this town that apparently has been holed by my father and my siblings to lessen the population, and by their reasoning strengthen it. I believe they met with a doctor, scientist person while I was gone, and this person helped track the lineage of Madame Cervanti Jr. over here, and
Oh yes. She met with him. Met the Dr. Spencer Bergen. You remember meeting the doctor?
Dr. Bergen? Yeah, she was the one who confirmed the draconic ancestry for a bunch of us. Is she okay? If she was in the town? What happened to Dr. Bergen?
I don't remember.
No. What happens to Dr. Bergen happens with another group. After he goes, our friend went through his little metamorphosis. We were freeing the town, and we met up. His family absconds through some kind of portal, right? I remember you saying. We met outside of town, and then I guess there's another automobile, except for it looked a lot nicer and fancier than anyone I've ever seen in my life. Just pulls up, and out pops two, Cambions?
Yes,
Was it?
Terrible shadow black creatures.
And they recognized me as an agent of the government, as a fellow agent of the government, and they were after the doctor. And they were giving me orders, which I was doing my best to not do. I ended up doing nothing as the doctor gave themselves up. And the last we knew about the doctor, they were being driven away.
As it stands, we apparently don't know their predicament right now.
I hope she's all right. Sure,
She's,
kid, sure.
More than capable.
What happened next?
Then we headed to Spitzbergen.
Good old Slicksburg.
And that's when we met you.
That's right.
So you know what happened in Spitzbergen?
Yes, the meeting with Kirkegi, which will not be reported on.
Oh wait, we weren't in... Yeah, we were in Spitzbergen first, yes. Sorry. Got my Okios and Pennsylvanias mixed up for a moment there. Yeah, so all that happens in Spitzbergen.
It was that night when we met the one person that was looking for their clearance on control. I feel like that happened shortly there.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That one clear time named Tessie had went out looking for a scoop with a serial killer on the loose.
Oh, wow.
That was my friend. She was in She was in Cortland.
Yes. Yeah, so after we did all that stuff in Switchborgen that you know about, we went to Cortland to find your friend.
And I take it you found her.
Yes. I'm sure you got your message back and everything.
Yes, I did. Thank you. She's not just a hell of a cartoonist, but a hell of a satirist.
Among other things, I am sure.
That wouldn't be for me to find out. That'd be for Brain. Looking for...
Yeah, the guy in Cortland.
I've got like 4 different names. It was... Could have been...
She's a Chanticleer, so she's a good lay.
Anyway.
I remember that spider that going home.
I can barely hear you, Akeisha.
Oh, again? Oh, why my mouth seems to do? Maybe it's batteries.
Yeah, I was just turning you up personally.
Let me raise the mice. Bump you up a bit.
There we go.
I don't know why this mic doesn't like picking up my voice. I know I speak quietly at times, so that probably doesn't help. I have to remind myself to speak up.
I have the exact opposite problem. To remind myself that the microphone's right in front of me. Especially when I get heated on like a FaceTime, my wife has to remind me that the phone will pick up the same volume no matter how loud I yell.
Yeah, people are always going, huh? What? And I'm like, listen, this is why I text, okay? You can hear text perfectly fine.
Speaking of everything that happened in Slicksburg, Morphier, Finn Dive has been asking around about you.
Morpheus had quite a
range
few days.
cocktail and then turns to make another one.
I bet he has.
Well, do me a favor and don't tell him I said hi.
Will won't do.
One would think he'd be flattered to have an admirer, but I think that falls a bit closer to thought.
Well, he knows somebody who's gonna get him to a good story when he sees one.
Yes. You seem to have that in common.
So in Cortland, we ended up picking up the trail of that killer that your friend was after. That's right out. Seemed to have some friends in high places, as he himself was a high society type. Gave us a bit of a shell game, but we were up for it, and we busted him, saving your friend and others.
Well, thank you for that.
Then we started finally on the road to Ticonderoga. And well,
Wasn't that around the same time that we met your associate Sandy
oh, that was
for
in
the first time?
that was in Slicksburg.
Mm-hmm.
You remember our friend Sandy?
That was a very interesting entry point. We were being suddenly shot at.
Yes, we were.
Well,
Never forget that first impression.
Well, I mean, you ran into her. You saw her. Yeah, we were doing that one of the jobs, and we got shot at. But the gun sounded familiar to me. Morphier dimension doored with me up to the roof. Found it was an old war buddy of mine.
That poor bugbear driver.
Yes, we did nearly blow that carriage up. Although I can't quite say that was our fault.
Oh yeah, Chime had fun defusing the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly
Yes,
spoiled his-
memory serves.
Get a
I
hand
had
in.
to dash. Yeah, I dashed through that carriage as it was about to explode. I'd rather not repeat that. It's exciting
so-
as it was, I'm going to say.
It was her idea that we would get the old band back together and meet up in Ticonderoga. I mean, we're heading there anyway. I haven't seen the folks in a while. We also knew we had quite a bit ahead of us there. So I was like, why not? Let's do that. So we get to Ticonderoga, and that's when we lost our one friend, lost the track of our one friend. What we said earlier, Onyxia. But also, all of us, knew. Cordelia wasn't with us. It was the three of us in Chime. We're transported into the Fey realm.
Well,
Now things
we
like
also
it.
go
Now
kill a
things
banshee.
get weird.
We did go kill a banshee for a guy.
Oh yeah, that was what we
right.
were in Pittsburgh. Yeah,
That was, in Pittsburgh with
that was a Kirkegi.
Uh,
I think for Kirkegi,
for sure.
which I'm sure you already covered.
Whole
How-
factory work.
How the work stoppage ended.
Oh, bringing back the heroes that got Slicksburg back in business. It's always good press.
Yeah, there was a banshee. We took care of it, and then we negotiated a better deal for the workers, as I'm sure you covered already back then. So yes, we were summoned to the Fey realm, Now, most of this is on Morphier. But that was literally 3 days ago?
A lot happens fast to you people.
I mean, yeah.
We walk through the Fey Realm for quite a while. And we come upon a castle full of rascals. And this is all really Morphier stuff now, because this is personal to him.
We get into this Fey realm, and we're traveling through this forest and ever encroaching darkness and all of that type of stuff, and then we finally reach this huge fortress. And when I say huge, I mean fairly ginormous, very large Gothic structure, very pretty. But we enter and meet this lady who tells us that we'll be meeting with her higher power. And as far as I know, all the higher powers has been gone for at least more than a few hundred years.
That thing we met earlier was mostly an Onyxia thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't involve you as well. Yeah, you took the vow, didn't you? That's why you have more friends?
Yes. And it was round about the first time that was the first time that I met Mask in person, so to speak.
Yes. And they are very fun.
You know, just a god of, the night and all that fun stuff.
So you met Mask.
That didn't quit.
So you say you met Mask?
Yes.
If there was any god that was still around, it was the one who knew how to hide. So
yeah, they are fairly good at that. Darkness is relatively their thing. But yeah, you know how the last time you asked me about my past, told you I had no idea. That was all rather true. I still have very little idea. But apparently there was a lot of magical mumbo jumbo that went on with me and my blood. Everybody seems to be after bloodlines of such or another. And that process relatively made me who I am right now. And it also stole away from me all the memories that I had of anything that happened prior to it occurring.
Might as well call us the blood drive instead of the everlasting Godstoppers.
I got nothing going on in my blood.
Well, that's
go back to the home.
as we know, someone just has to say the magic words and you go all loopy in the brain and forget yourself. So, don't know if it's your blood, your mind, or what, but you aren't strictly 100. But yes, I found and lost a brother all in a matter of 24 hours.
you found and lost a brother.
Mm.
How does that happen?
Yes. Well, when one loses their memories and you have a god tell you, oh, hey, you have family, and here's one of them. And then that family member gets brutally murdered in front of your eyes, not 24 hours later. as part of the ritual that's brought upon all that chaos that we just left back there.
Mask
So,
claimed that his brother just showed up one day inside their dungeons.
Yes.
Nobody's in the dungeon 1 minute, all of a sudden he's there.
truly wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. Wow.
Very wild. So it has been a rather very interesting past few days.
So, this ritual and the people conducting it. What can you tell me about that?
Well,
Putting to the end now, are we? Okay.
Well, unless you've got
What?
something else that happened in the middle of all that.
No, we were just investigating that.
yeah, more investigations. We figured out that the lovely Arabella Jr. here was taken by a spoke. You ever heard of those?
I have. I don't know how they get back onto this plane after everything that's gone on.
That's the question you asked after this. After all of this, we've been telling you.
I've got plenty of questions, but the same question over and over again. Why? Why are the gods all starting to do things at the same time? Why are skulks showing back up after being gone almost as long as the gods?
So we wake up back on the train and we go off about our business.
Yes.
Cordelia's missing, but Cordelia is her own being and can handle herself. So we didn't worry about it too much.
Yeah,
We were
train
actually
again.
more concerned for whoever had kidnapped her.
Also, Cordelia had left a note saying she was going to go investigate her own thing.
Did we already get to the point where another god explained the what's behind all the gods?
Oh, yeah, that's part of the mask meeting.
Yeah, that was
yes,
Mask.
Yes, that was. Yeah, Mask.
We want to share that with the world.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll leave some of that out when we're speaking to the head of tabloids.
I'd hardly call myself the head of the tabloids. Is there something off the record you want to say?
Nope.
No, because it would definitely put you in the loony bin, and definitely not win your Pulitzer.
Yeah.
So something that would cause public panic.
Suffice it to say that the screaming sand creature is probably not the last we'll see of bands like his.
Yeah, let's just say that the Everlasting Godstoppers is more of a name we strive to hold ourselves to.
So, she was taken by a skulk.
Yep. Snatched right out of her bed.
Taken
She'll
to...
probably tell you that part of the story herself, actually.
Oh no, that's about where everything goes black for me. I was snatched out of my bedroom by something I could only see in the mirror, and it was ugly, and then I was being dragged into the sewer and knocked out.
Now, did it just kind of slip past your doorman?
I have no clue. It was just in my room all of a sudden. I woke up, looked in the mirror, and I could see... Oh god, the claws. The skin was just... She's like stifling being sick. Like how gross the skin of a skulk is once you actually see it in the mirror.
I slide her a clean
Don't tell him to keep in his cage for now.
Chime is not in the open part of the cabin with you. Chime has locked himself away in one of
in the private car.
in the private part of the car. Yeah, in one of the bed slash like seat rooms, and
Yeah.
locked away.
Yes, there's lots of revelations going on. Speaking of which, as I'm recalling all of this, I just remembered after we drop off the Lady Arabella, I believe I need to make a trip to Orleans.
Why Orleans?
Apparently, that's where the rest of my family resides.
Interesting. You're not going to go and try to stop whatever the hell that was.
Well, priorities, of course, though. Yeah, things as they happen. I suppose I would have been better off saying once this has calmed down, although I don't believe I have an extremely lengthy amount of time to try and save my brother, so that's mildly sliding in priorities. As you recall, I remember nothing of my past, and this is the only link that I've had to my family that is now gone.
So you have family in Orleans. You're former military.
Mm-hmm.
You're a Dampier. Like a day walker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my daddy's still out there terrorizing town somewhere.
Yes, and that mumbling that you hear is our friend who's had so many truths revealed that their little mind is just whirring.
I remember that one being kind of a, I want to say conspiracy theorist, but
When you find out that those conspiracies are actual fact, it lays a whole new credence to the way you think about life and all the people on the street mumbling and uttering foolishness.
I feel like I'm going into this getting more questions than answers.
Well, we told you that from the start.
Welcome to our lives.
So what the hell happened down there in the sewer? Beneath the museum?
Yes, I'm sure you are aware of, what is his name? Edison?
Edison.
Tedison. Yes, you're well aware of Tedison, I presume.
Yeah, Mr. Tedison owns 90% of most of the most prominent patents.
Imagine if someone with that amount of power backing them, if they were to say, "Oh, I don't know, strive for the end of the world as we know it, speak out, God who wished to destroy all things," and just
why would a creator? Why would a creator, and then you hear chime, a fraud, want to destroy?
If Again, that's another question that we have not yet figured out.
And who else was down there? Was it just Tedison?
No, there was.
Do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
I mean, I wouldn't blame him. It's a nightmare down here.
Spy Kids too.
Spy Kids.
Who else was down there?
We have all the names.
There was so many. We did end up going with a small crew of people.
Oh yeah, that's part of the story too.
Oh, there was
So
a
we're
false
told
Hydra.
earlier tonight by my friend.
I'm
that
sorry.
All of the former group is together, and then we have a new base of operations, and we go and meet up with them, and we tell them everything that's going on, and then we come and when we go into the sewers, and we find the skulks, and we destroy the skulks, and then we come down to a level where Tedison and all his friends are doing all their evil shit, and then 3 of the fuckers turn on us.
I'm sorry, you said a false Hydra.
I did. There was a false Hydra. I kept it in space, and then we moved on.
Yeah, it was in the
City
museum.
Hall.
No, the courthouse, right?
It was
You
at the
see,
courthouse,
it
City
eat
Hall.
people,
Yes, it was in the courthouse.
and then those people that it ate are essentially erased from everyone's memories. So there are people out there that are victims of this false Hydra that we don't know are victims because they don't have any
No one
memory
remembers.
in our.
They don't
in
know
our minds
themselves.
However, there is evidence that they existed in paintings and pictures and lost items and whatnot in whoever's houses there are. So that's an investigation for someone else, I suppose.
Yeah, if anyone used to remember a family of 3 that suddenly turned into a family of 1 and no one's mentioned it, you might want to look into that.
Interesting. So, false Hydra in the courthouse notwithstanding, you said Tedison and his friends. What friends?
One of them was Gravix.
Gravix Martin.
Another one was the sheriff.
I'm sorry, the sheriff?
Was it the sheriff?
Yes, it was.
Okay, the sheriff of Ponderoga.
Yep.
And the last one was
There were 2 others.
there was a robot.
That was with Tedison. That was just a construct. Wasn't part of the cult.
Victor. No, we can't forget about Victor. Victor, what's his name?
He was the one running everything.
Was the
Son of
main
a
guy?
Yeah.
Victory Sorrows?
Yes.
Yes.
The giant statue.
He's a
At
true
the-
vampire.
Yes,
Been alive this whole time.
That Victor Sorrows. That's the asshole that murdered my brother.
And
And
last
then
one,
ran away like a hound.
And then there was that woman that kept trying to kill Cordy's father.
yeah, her.
Well, the sheriff is a
Sorry,
woman.
You just call me Cordy.
He did call you Cordy, yes.
Who the fuck has? No, that was okay.
We got the impression that Cordy was okay to call you from a friend of yours.
Who?
Yeah, your little robotic friend.
Would
I don't
not
know what the
stop
fuck you're
calling you
talking
that.
about.
Small, very sharp teeth, curious, hungry, carried a very large pipe, led us nearly straight to you. It was
I
curious.
have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, while we were investigating the Lady Arabella's dorm room, this small creature came bursting through the room and inquired as if we were aware of who Cordy was, and said that they were an associate of yours.
Yeah, his go-to phrase was, "Have you seen Cordy?"
Mm-hmm.
So just about everyone in Ticonderoga knows your name because this little guy was going up to everyone in Ticonderoga to ask you where you were.
Yeah.
I have never met whatever the fuck you're talking about, and for fuck's sake, I gotta change my name now.
Well, join the club of people who can't remember shit about what happened in their past. Here's a pen.
Thank you. And she writes on her arm, kill Zed.
Well, I think that's taken care of. But
I think that's a very large part of the reason why you are back in the land that I live in. I'm not sure if you were aware or not, but you were dead.
If you fed your clasp to a false hydra, would that solve the problem?
My clasp?
Wait, does Velvet know that?
I don't think Velvet does. Yeah, I don't think you know it's the clasp, but you also would have seen that the cloak wasn't being held together, and also that the clasp was back after Zed was gone. It depends on what's everybody's passive perception? Let's see if they noticed that.
14.
Got 14.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, you didn't notice that, so no, you don't know. That's the clasp.
Yeah, I have no idea where the little man went, but in all the kerfluffle of the fight down there, but we.
That all happened during the time where we were all stopped in time, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You also have no recollection of that. Yeah, you don't have a recollection of that.
I say out of character that all happened while we were all stopped in time.
Yeah.
Y'all are losing it.
One moment.
No.
One moment, you were laid out right on the table.
Dan is saying that out of character. That they have nobody has any memory of being stopped in time.
Right. And at one moment, you were laid out on the table, and Lil Zed was chewing off somebody's arm. And the next moment, he was gone, and you were up. You and Miss Matthew.
I don't know what time it is, but I feel like I need a drink.
Orpheus has been steadily supplying drinks throughout the trip. He stayed behind the bar, so he's just been leaning over like a bartender chatting and talking all of this.
Anyway,
so drinks are free flowing.
It's inner sanctum. And then that's when 3 of my old friends decided that they're going to turn on us, and they've been paid off by Tedison and their friends.
Wait, Sandy fucked us over?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's over because
deceitful little witch.
Tedison, who got away.
Tedison and Victor.
Man, I wanted to like her. What the fuck?
Yeah, we all wanted to.
Yes, unfortunately, she was part of the revolt, but don't worry, none of them they're all still in the sewer, or at least floating through some part of it.
And then you hear
It got put where it belonged.
For the first time since you've seen her, you hear Joanna say, "Turncoat, bitch."
I glance over like, did she?
Corey is slightly turned on.
Does she just prefer not to speak? Do you prefer not to speak? Oh.
Yeah, tell us the story about how y'all got here. in detail.
Well, I think that might be more up for C4 to tell us about how all that came about.
Message spell. We were told to gather. Well, we came.
When you got here? Like,
You
anything seem off about the three of them?
Yes.
Oh, they said that they were paid very well to do a job, and that we should join them to do a job. And
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Didn't say what the job entailed.
and when we gathered what happened, the two of us, we, fuck them.
All right.
Well,
Well, I think they've been properly
you
fucked.
can't everybody's choices, as you can see.
So that's hard. We had our highest of highs and lowest of lows with those three.
Yeah.
And the lowest was tonight.
Speaking of lows and highs, I found some very good high-end bourbon and cognac while we were down there.
Party perks up.
Pull out the bottles of the high-end bourbon and cognac, and then I take the whiskey and the vodka, the low-end stuff, and stick it down underneath the shelf. Okay, we'll worry about that later. But as for this, pour everybody shots, use prestidigitations, chill it all, give everyone a shot.
Velvet just starts nesting the bottle of Captain Morgana's.
On this bottle, there is a picture of a piratess with the Welsh flag, but in black, emblazoned across her chest.
Not a shirt.
It's very American traditional tattoo, so it's like a pin-up pirate captainess, and the flag is literally across her chest.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
it's literally supposed to depict Morgana as a captain that has the Pendragon dragon on her chest in reference to Arthurian legend.
I do rather enjoy the spicy kick of this one. But yes, as you can see, we have had a very interesting past few days.
Oh yeah, not to say that like everything that happened here happened in about 10-day period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Although it feels like it's been months.
Almost a year, actually.
And
You don't
I
say.
think most of the time
Like
was
families
spent
that come and
traveling. With all that we've been going through, it feels like I've been through some sort of freak show or something.
I kind of saw what... And then...
Oh, yes. So much does happen in such a quick turnaround of time.
When it rains, of course.
Multiple gods trying to break through. So you say the sheriff, Victory Sorrows, is a fucking vampire.
Yep.
Tedison, Gravix Martin.
Yeah, they're all the crazy cults of Tiamat worshippers.
And there was one other?
That one's a secret. I'm kidding. I just don't remember.
That's because he's not particularly memorable, because you didn't do the mission that would have gotten you to him early enough to where that...
Was he an actor?
No, he was a pilot.
A pilot, okay.
So, had you gotten to B-52 before the Freak Show did, you would have done a mission that introduced you to Ansel Tartelheim, who is largely based off of Charles Lindbergh. Instead, you just met him in the sewer and killed him.
Good. Fuck his back.
All that for a one shot I had one sentence on.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the moments that can repay the favor to victory and drive a stake through their little vampiric heart.
Yeah, they had the sarcophagus. That was the main thing at the museum.
So to Ankev, the lost God Queen.
Yeah, so it's backwards.
Yeah, it's actually a little mixed up. And
Vec Na'at.
Piece of paper, write it down. Yeah.
Look in the mirror.
Yeah.
So it's backwards.
Yeah. They had the 5 people that they were using as a sacrifice. They used Edison's stolen electronic
Tesla coil.
In this universe, Vaughn's coils, but yeah.
Vaughn's coils, yes.
And they were
Yes.
feeding into these ancient dragon eggs that were one by one breaking and sending their essence into the sarcophagus, supposedly awakening and giving power to Vecna. We stopped at 3 of 5.
Yes, so it's not at full strength for now.
But it absconded with the 5th egg.
Yeah, and the 4th one is right there.
I will leave that out of the article.
That would probably be for the best.
And then everything that's happened since then has happened since you've been in town.
And I told you what happened with the Ferris wheel. This is some crazy shit.
Yeah, like I said, it's either a Pulitzer or a padded room for you. If you write this.
I feel like I'm going to wind up in the padded room while I'm writing it.
Yes, I mean, writing this article could very much put your life in danger.
You can't make this shit up.
Several many of the big hitters are currently trying to kill
Just
everybody.
by yourself. It takes a group of 5 to 7 individually inputting their own parts.
You got backwards languages, synthetic mind flayers, avatars of gods, gods themselves, people just teleporting into dungeons. You've got dragons. You've got dungeons and dragons.
And those two things really go together.
I love the alliteration.
They do sound good together.
I can see it now.
They should be a pair.
Honor among thieves.
I'm happy to know that whenever Michelle said that, I looked up and Akeisha was also wincing.
Yes. We're gonna have to start giving out tokens.
And you can quote me on that.
I feel like we should have the ability to make the DM roll with disadvantage.
We all have to collectively earn, turn in 1 inspiration.
You know, the Star Trek game has a system like that where you can earn extra points and lose extra points on both sides.
The Star Trek game would.
I think it's called Silvery Barbs.
So I had a game where I had 2 players at Silvery Barbs. Do you think I ever got anything done as the DM?
Yeah.
I never got to crit. I'll tell you that.
I'm living that life, and then I'm also DMing that life. I love and hate Silvery Barb. It's always a pause. It's like, alright, yeah, that hits, and then you wait. No.
It's a reaction. So I only get 1 whole round.
Okay.
But it's also a spell slot, so they will run out of it eventually. And then you get a second player that has it too.
Hey, Silvery Barbs, your Silvery Barbs. And
His dad says, your bad guys will never crit, ever.
No,
You never bring in counterspell minions.
I subtle spell Silvery Barbs, so you can't react with Silvery Barbs.
Yes.
And now we're back on the way to Newtalkit to end our contract with the Survival.
All the way.
And then, who knows what we're going to do next? We're probably going to just come back.
I'd just ride
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
bit.
You're gonna go to Ticonderoga. How did she get out?
How did who get out?
Vecna. How the hell did... I assume you were fighting the people doing the rituals, so it got interrupted.
No, the ritual
Didn't reach to its full strength, so Vecna's still out there.
So,
We just made sure she's not as powerful as she could have been, I guess.
right. So it seems that when they started this ritual, it was pretty much self running, and we just kind of interrupted it the best way we could by killing and or chasing off most of the cult members.
I believe a bit of acid ended up on the sarcophagus.
So it weakened the stone,
Yeah.
and it let her out.
Yes, I do remember that acid splash. There was quite a lot of it going on. So yes, between the essence of three dragon eggs and the weakening of the physical field on the sarcophagi, she was able to slip free.
And fly through the air, mount a Ferris wheel, shrieking an entire city full of people during one of the most gigantic events in the city's history.
Mm-hmm. And then fly off to cause whatever untold chaos perhaps Avatar of a God is going to do.
Well, she's a hopeful avatar of a god. Well, it's funny, she's still missing an eye and a hand.
And technically in this incarnation, also a foot.
Oh, there's the foot of Vecna.
Yeah.
Wonder what powers that has.
Right eye, left hand, right foot.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, you had to go backwards. Yeah.
The way that you responded to that after asking what the abilities were kind of sounded like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Instead of blue eyes, white dragon, right arm, left leg.
It's like the pieces of Exodia.
Oh no, that wasn't Blue Eyes White Dragon. Blue Eyes White Dragon was one card. This was, and I had one of the pieces of that.
Exodia.
Is Exodia?
Yeah, the one that was in 5 pieces.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The arms, the legs, the torso, and the head.
Yep. So that's 6 pieces.
Yeah, and 6 pieces, yes.
I think I had the torso.
You may or may not know this, but me and Mass don't get along.
You're welcome for bringing that memory up from the depths.
Yeah. I summon Exodia.
Takes all your turns to put the cards down, and then all of a sudden you summon the Destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
I summon Pot of Greed.
She's the form of the Destructor.
No, ye. But yes, so that is That about sums up what's been going on these past fortnights.
Fortnite?
No build.
10 days. 10 days. And that's it. That's all that's happened, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's all. That's it.
I mean,
Yeah, not
It
much.
doesn't matter.
10 days, I must say.
Wasn't there a cart chase?
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when you met your friend that betrayed you.
Oh yeah, you were there for those, weren't you?
Parts.
He wasn't there during that, but he was there for us to have told him right after it happened.
I was there at the society with Kirkegi.
Right.
Being entertained, I would have no doubt.
You'd be surprised what a wallflower can ascertain rather than being in the dead center of the entertainment.
Things you probably couldn't write outright.
Oh, it's all up here.
You gotta make it subtext, maybe.
Make it subtext. Use it to get other information that I can write down. I went to a very special college.
Oh, yeah?
One most people don't admit they went to.
Alabama State?
Alabama. No.
Alabama!
Good love.
Did you go to the new house school at Syracuse?
Are you a Texas Raider?
Do you have Raider Rash? No, it's. You can quit your weird guesses that I've never heard of before.
College of Whispers.
Oh. Somebody did his homework.
School of Hard Knocks.
The bartender, well, the other bartender, clearly knew somebody. It's a college that exists and doesn't exist.
Wouldn't that be like the School of Illusion? Or a wizard school?
No, it's more subterfuge based. A lot of talking.
So it's there, but everyone's
No one talks about Bruno.
But the school is inside the walls.
It's in every major city, it's in every party, it's in every back room. Comes in handy being a reporter. Also helped win us the war, as my classmate, Felix, can attest to.
Yes. And you both did great work during the war.
I trust we'll keep this a little bit more quiet than other things. The type of things that you told me off the record.
Hey, I got stuff to protect myself.
Now, given all the craziness, given the absolute shit show, off the record, what the hell did you learn in the Fey Realm?
Oh. You heard of the Pale Knight?
What the fuck is the Pale Knight?
On the lowest level of the hells?
yeah,
It's a realm
betrayer god, as it were.
similarly to how paladins of my type get their oaths and magic from non-deities. It's similar realm houses that known as the Pale Knight.
Yes, the most
realm-
evil of evils, as Mass would say.
A realm within a realm within the hells.
I'm the lowest plane of the hells.
On the lowest plane
It's
of
the
the
most
hells.
ancient and most evil of ancient evils.
Yes, among the ninth level of hell, to be specific.
In case you're wondering how you didn't realize how many levels up. It's regaining strength and will awaken at some point.
And so these gods want. And so these gods want onto our plane. Why? Why aren't they locking this thing up? I would think even the evil ones want to protect themselves. Unless there's just no running, no hiding from this thing.
They also love their sending their own people in instead of themselves. And supposedly, there are heroes from the ages of heroic groups through time who will all have to elect one member of their troop to come in and have one big battle royale against the Pound Knight.
So the best warriors from throughout history gathering in a plane outside time to fight the most ancient evil that any plane has ever seen.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from what you're saying.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And it happens to be in the ninth level of hell, the entrance, I guess, to this other world. This other realm nobody's seen.
So here we go.
Yes.
You do realize how batshit insane everything you've told me is.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I said Pulitzer or padded room.
This is the worst fucking part.
That's why we didn't tell you during the story.
So Vecnaat, unless
Not
stopped,
a big bad, the big bad.
unless stopped, is only the fucking beginning.
That's
Vecna
right.
ought to be the champion that goes to fight the Pound Knight. On behalf of Tiamat, if it does what it wants to do, apparently, and become the champion of Tiamat and the Avatar, I suppose that would be what the Tiamat folks are trying to do right now, is to raise Vecna back to full strength to be part of this fight.
They're trying to bring her back to full strength to be part of the fight. These people, they're rich, they're wealthy, and they're scared.
I mean, if it's outside of time, it would. I guess that would mean it would affect all time.
They're rich, they're wealthy. The wealthy rule the fucking world, and they are scared. It sounds like
Yes.
the why to your situation is not that they want one of these champions. It sounds like the why to this situation is they want a skirt to hide behind.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds, yes, it wants to think that way. They do always want a scapegoat or something of those natures.
Yes.
Oh. And
Something
what,
to shield them, keep them in their place.
and what happens? Why are these gods coming back now?
It's a question.
No, just go, well, why are y'all coming back now as an internal monologue to the members of the triad?
Darling, I never left.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
This is true, as they say you are the best at hiding. But making yourself known is a far step from hiding.
Strengths and waves of energy vary across planes and times. We were always going to come back. It is just when the wavelength aligns.
So you were gone just long enough to wait for the perfect wave to ride. And now that that wave is arriving, all the entities are aligning for you to make your brand turn.
So to speak.
Everyone's lined up for a race.
Morphe kind of says out loud, one would think that they were never truly gone, that their energy and the wavelengths that surround it were just so far off from what we could detect. And now that the wavelengths are realigning, we're able to discern their energy and presence again.
I think I've heard chime muttering something like that before.
Yes, I suppose if time is irrelevant, then they were all basically as the day we last saw of them or heard of them. When all points of time line up into one, or scramble all atop each other, there is no sense of when. It's all now, then, and never was.
Sounds like a giant ball of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Yeah, I think you're about right with that.
Well played, Dan.
Well, again, as our incoherent friend over there is always saying, time is a construct and all of that type of stuff. If that is the case and the wavelengths are returning to what they were back then, what else is going to be making its presence known?
Well, we got gods, we got dragons, we got dragon gods.
I hope there's a moth
We
god.
got scopes returning, dragons returning. I'm not sure this world is ready for all of them to be back, present, and focused.
We got vampires being confirmed as things that exist.
Sounds like we're going back to the Dark Ages.
We've got a returning mummy.
I think that's the point and direction that they are trying to take us in.
A thinning of the veil, an alignment of wavelengths.
And the rising power of pure evil.
So yeah, put a happy face on that and put it out in tomorrow's Picayune.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see the headline right now. We're all fucked.
The end is
Oh,
nigh.
that sounds perfectly fitting. And then they will throw you out on the street corners next to all the other ramblers.
I'm gonna need some time to make sense of it. Is there any way you can, I don't know, fight this oncoming thing for
Well,
a few more days to a week.
We're told by Mask to continue on our road, get stronger, and get ready.
Yes.
So I think we're dedicated to our group. And, we have some personal stakes that we'd like to fix amongst ourselves. And we are somewhat at fault of a mummy being back. Although it is our fault that it's not full strength as well, so I guess that's a good thing for
Want to
us.
say I personally refuse to take responsibility for the actions of psychopaths. As
Oh, it's our fault. It's not at full strength.
we have we prevented the creature from coming back in full force. Were it not for us, that town would probably be
Colorado might be a
buried under miles of
sinkhole right
sand.
now if they'd gone unchecked.
Well, didn't you bring someone straight to them?
So,
You brought someone straight to them, and from what I gather of what you're not saying about the acid that wound up on the sarcophagus, that was not exactly them either.
Well,
suppose
things happen in the heat of battle.
Oh, I'm not saying they don't. I've seen enough of it.
I don't even remember who did the poison.
I fully don't remember.
That looks to me it's not part of my toolkit.
Yeah, I don't have an answer.
Are you saying they were counting on us showing up and doing this? They were counting on 2 of their members dying brutally at our hands?
I'm sure they were counting on somebody trying to stop them.
And it was all part of the plan?
It's all part of the plan.
I have a plan, Arthur.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan to you? God's returning. Evil gathering in power. The veil's thinning.
Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. Dogs and cats living together in mass hysteria.
Everlasting Godstoppers stop the everlasting God. Eventually. Here's your headline.
Dear readers, they will get around to it.
In the form of time, which is a construct, by the way.
Yes, exactly. So, by that nature, we will get to it very promptly, as if we attacked her at that very moment.
I will have to dance around this to not, one, lose my entire reputation, and two, cause mass hysteria in the process. But I think we can take some first steps towards introducing these ideas to the public so that people can try to keep themselves safe.
Like the Matrix. We find out people who are ready to be exposed and we bring them in full swing.
More like a frog, and we slow boil them.
But don't kill them in this instant.
It's a bad analogy, but we get them used to this much of the idea, then a little more and a little more, until
slowly increasing down.
Until there's gods fighting in front of their house, and they're okay with it.
because they warded their house, because they're not in their house anymore, they're somewhere safe. People need to know, but people also need to be ready to believe when it's time they know.
They need something or someone to believe in.
Yes.
God damn it, that's going to be us.
You may be right. The slow dissemination of that information might be the best. Might give us time to at least try and do something about it, although what the few of us can do against literal gods, I'm not quite sure. Although at least we have at most one of them on our sides.
Well, we're all sure to find out here shortly. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a story to write. Oh, and you, the one that was dead. What did you say you did before all this again?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
What do you mean what I did before this?
Your occupation, your history. When I introduce you in the article as part of this team, how do you fit?
Just call me an independent contractor.
All right. I know when I'm politely being told to fuck myself. I'm gonna go.
That's about as polite as she gets most times.
Oh, so she'll just literally tell people to fuck themselves, won't she?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I sure will.
Yes. Oh,
Tell me to
absolutely.
fuck myself.
Fair enough. And he
That's
walks
just
off to
politely
one
saying,
of the...
mind your own goddamn business.
He lifts his drink, takes out a cigarette, puts it in his snout, and goes off to one of the private parts of the car where he can open a window. So, the train is chugging along nicely. You have your whole party with you. You have Arabella Cervanti with you. And you are headed for Newtocket. And that's where we're going to leave it for this week. Next week, we shall open as you arrive. Safe and sound. No cult attacking you so far. You got enough of them in the process to at least slow them down a bit.
We certainly have not had the best of luck on trains.
And so, good job recounting the entirety of the campaign until this point. Everyone, have a pleasant evening. We will be coming back on Saturday with this exact stream. So, happy Saturday, everyone. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. Because this is the Saturday morning cartoon you decided to grace yourselves with. This is how we come back, and this is how we show the world what they can expect out of the steampunk era, however short it's going to last before we go into the pirate campaign.
Yes, welcome to this game. There probably be one more, and then we'll switch.
They have a
And
white
they can
editing
come back.
preview.
They can come back whenever they want and refresh themselves with this one as we go towards the Act 2 of this campaign after the pirate one.
Which the players might need to watch this episode when that comes up.
No brain.
It'll be there. Dear audience, we love you. Have a good weekend. And I'm really excited for Jordan to do that pirate campaign. Well, the beginning of it.
Yes. It should be very awesome.
Anyway, bye!